Hi, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Yes, a bit of a change of format here because with this format, we are actually going to, I believe, get to record this through AI, and then I can send you the notes. It doesn't so much like Keynote. It just shuts off the AI. So here we are. Hope you enjoy the paintings behind you instead. So, as you may or may not know, I've been traveling and, I was in Mexico and then I came home for a couple of days and I went out to the desert, to see some tennis, for the last time. And now I know why. I wasn't really sure why I got that message to go. And yes, I had one day that was really good tennis, etc. But here we are. Here's the new messaging, beautiful beings. There is a very strong 3D world out there. And where I live, it really is acclimated and easy to be 5D. So I got a very big dose of 3D. Very, very big dose. In fact, I sat next to a woman who proceeded to tell me pretty much all 85 places in the world that she'd been, and that she could do it because she inherited money from her husband and the family sued her. She just went into this whole story for an hour. And I had just to be. And of course, can't judge. She was living her life, blessed be. But I got a really interesting taste all around me of that frequency of entitlement. And the only thing we're entitled to is if we do the work to waking up. That's about it. This could all disappear in a moment. It's just how it is. It's happened over and over again. So it was a really interesting experience. So here's what I was to do when I was in the desert. In three different areas, I was to, um, number one, process whatever feelings were coming through my body. Yeah, just uh, this, many, many years I've gone there with friends, relationship, etc. And I went alone. And it was really interesting just to be, I had to be an alone, sentient being, shall we say, and navigate. And I really got taken care of. I got messaging. I got just, things just went really, really well. Um, and, but there was that flurry of feelings that came up. And you're going to have this where you're going to be somewhere, I think one of the big things of 3D density is uncertainty. We're just not sure how we should be because we're re-engaging with our divine self, but we've been programmed to live and survive in this reality format. So they gave me kind of a little list of 3D. So I'm going to share it with you. One, right on top of the list was entitlement. And it just is so interesting just to see how people were dressed and the cars they were driving. And no, absolutely no judgment about whatever those things get to be, but you could feel the entitlement with some people. And I just thought it was interesting. And, it's an event that costs money to go to. So, I get it. Um, Uncertainty being, the other side of it. It's really interesting. Like, who am I and where am I? Divisive constructs. Divisive constructs. So that could be political, or that could be skin color or whatever that shows up to be. Competitive, like a competition. And so you're standing in line and you want to get a seat. So there is a little competition there. And then it is a competition, but it's a competition for entertainment. And I could see where most of them are very professional. I did see a little breakdown here and there over a missed point. A racket was mildly tossed, etc. But it just points out that this is how we are. We're reactive to the moment. Um, and then, of course, any kind of judgment, any kind of negativity, all those kind of things are 3D. And so you could be anywhere and people could start doing this about somebody and it would be negative. And you don't have to judge it. All you do is you say, all you do is you say, mm-hmm, that's interesting. Hmm. And if it makes you feel a certain way, you go, wow, that really makes me feel a certain way. Huh. Okay. And you note it. And this is the maneuvering from 3D to 5D, 3D to 5D, because you're gonna get pushed from side to side. And and you get to have your moment of making the choice. And you can't probably, I'm not going to say can't, but at our stage, it's probably won't be able to stay in that 24/7. Um, and if you can, in a really great way, that's when you probably need to go in 3D and be the presence to help others. It's really good to suit up before you go out in the day. And a really great way to suit up is with an I am or two or three. And sometimes, we need the two, not only as individual notations, calling ins, alignments, but when they're together, they're a superpower. This morning, a really, really good one for me is I am power and I am grace. So it means that I have the energy to move through the day to do what I need to do in 3D, but also I get to navigate with grace and ease and flow. And a beautiful way to do that is to bring yourself back to the moment. And sometimes you're like, well, how do I do that? And you can just go, okay, now what? I just say, okay, now what? And I pause. And I just get a sense or a feeling, go finish the laundry. I'm like, good idea. And so we have to we are going to be doing 3D things until we pass from this world, and we can do them as 5D. We can eat very mindfully as 5D. So you make a conscious choice, it goes in, you chew it, you enjoy it. You enjoy it and give thanks for it. Give thanks to the carrot who gave its life for your salad. Why not? Um, my adopted daughter, she really is very devoted about blessing her food and giving thanks every time she eats. She checks in, she's like, okay, I can eat this. And then it's a good reminder for me. Now, one of the things also that I noted when I was down in Mexico was mind. So, and especially when we're having to navigate something new, our mind kind of goes. And sometimes we're also in habits where we do habitual thinking. And I realized one day on the beach that I was attached to thinking through things. I was attached to having my thoughts run, attached to having my thoughts run. And I worked on that attachment. I just observed it. I felt what it felt like. And I resolved the why of it for myself. And then I just met the attachment with, with the namaste. And it really fluttered and loosened up that attachment. So I'm actually noticing moments when I'm not thinking and I'm choosing not to think as I'm moving from one room to another. Why not? Those 5 steps, they don't need to have you cogitating. So I really told, hey, let's start working on that. The flip side of it is very interesting as well. Well, if I'm not thinking, then what? Then what? How am I gonna know to navigate? And that's where I am sentience comes in. I am sentience. So sentience is the capacity to sense something with your entire being. You feel it. And for those of you who are healers, the very first time I put my hands on someone to work on them, I could feel, ooh, right there. Hang on. I could feel right there in me. And they were feeling, oh, yes, that place. And so I recognize it's a little bit of a vibration of sense and feeling in your body. And so let's just take a moment to close our eyes. And first of all, migrate up to the cranium and just note your thoughts or no thoughts. And if you observe your thoughts very mindfully, they might disappear. Mm-hmm. You can say, I'm in thinking mode right now. And observe it. And you might move out of thinking and into perception. You might move into perception, and that would be ideal. So that there's no thoughts, but yet in the distance, I heard a red-tailed hawk, and I'm very attuned to them. And they was saying, yeah, that's what you want to do. You want to be in perceptual mode. But now we're going to go to even a different channel. We're going to go to channel sentience. Okay, so we're going to close our eyes again, and we're going to just observe our thoughts. And you may even already be shifting to the pulse of consciousness, which is no thought. And allow that pulse to attune your body to our 5D field. You're observing, you're observing. Now tune into your what you call your vehicle, your body. And allow your body to be a microphone. It's going to sense, it's going to be a sensor, a receiver, if you will, to all the sensations in the room that you are seated. With no thought, sense. And your thoughts may come in and you nod at them and then shift back. And you can even say, I am sentience. I am sentience. And sentience is a form of presence. And then I'm going to have all of us imagine you have two choices that either you're going to move about in your home from room to room, or you're going to go out that front door and move out into the world. And what if people in your home or out in the world couldn't see you, but they could sense you as you moved through? There we go. Now, mm, So now you're going to say, I'm sensing what I need to do later today. I'm sensing, not I'm thinking, I'm sensing I need to, what would be best for me in the flow? I'm sensing. And this allows you a certain expression of intuition and presence that will keep you and gives you more of the flow of timelessness, 5D, timelessness. And recognizing and realizing that when you say, I am, and declare it, I am sentience, I am presence, you are, you're assuming the cloak of the divine for the good of all. And so everywhere you go, you feed the 6D crystalline interconnectivity for Gaia. We do this for her. That formatting of the one. And so I'm going to suggest now that each of us make our own vow of being in mindfulness of the how you're going to anchor and present the divine in your world, in your world. And then bring it into your hearts so that that you love doing it. Ooh, it just feels good. Oh, I'm so grateful I get to do this. And I love it. And every once in a while, I get the reflection back, and it is divine. It is divine. And then if something happens and you just get knocked off track, you know what? And this is what I did, and I'm going to share a little bit more about this. I just put my fingers together over my heart, and I'm sitting in boiling sun and wait, whatever. And I go, oh, this is where I'm going to do the work. This is where I'm going to do the work. So I made the cosmic dome here, and I put it over my heart. And little finger, love, 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 love. Ring finger, love, 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 love. And I went through that with each of these. So I did the L7 10 times magically. All that energy that I'd been feeling, picking up from people, why am I here, et cetera, et cetera. And then they told me that particular, it's out in the desert, and we are we are working on the West. And they go, you nailed a spot there. You nailed the spot. In other words, crystalline beings are there. I showed up. There was a lot of 3D going, high concentration. I'm going to say there had to be 50,000 people there. It was, I mean, I'm going to look it up. It was just coming and going and just huge everywhere. It was just so dense. But the crystalline 60 frequency is anchored there now. And every kind act is going to nourish it. And people were very nice. Yeah. And then I went to another part of that area and I was with the family. And the next morning I woke up, I stayed with them and I did the same thing. Love, 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 love. But if you do it as a dome, it's magical. And then I had 4.5 hours in traffic. And there was one section I went through, and they're like, this is the section that you need to work. So I did it again. I did, I guess we can count them, 770 uh loves. And this is what you can do. It's a divine spiritual hack beyond. It's really into, the work that we're doing. And as you go across when I go across the desert, the thing that I like about it is when you're in desert, there's not stuff. And there's not a lot of habitat. So there's almost a clear space. And I used to go to the desert every year because I was born in the desert just to have that experience. It's like a reset. And then I'm sure everybody has their own format of reset, excuse me. So we're gonna have a meditation with the crystalline beings. But I wanted to just kind of share this as context so you can go, oh, that's how I could do it. And if you go somewhere, and no matter where you are, I mean, we are being, I'm going to say, gifted the opportunity to work with this area that we call the West. A lot of you live in the East, and you're going to have your calling, or I mean, sometimes I think we had someone over in Portugal. Um, you're going to have your moments. You're going to get the call. And maybe you're traveling, maybe you're in Europe, and maybe you're in one of those giant cathedrals. And you go in there like, wow, a lot of people have prayed here. And one of my teachers said all the prayers go and they get stuck in the roof because they're praying this way. And it's beautiful, but it needs to be grounded. And so go and sit, in a church when it's almost empty and do your love, 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 loves. Love, 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 loves. Like that. Okay, and then the other thing they wanted me to say to you is that you may need to start spending more time alone. And going and being in large crowds may not feel as good to you. And if you go, you need to be really conscious of your field, how you're sensing, feeling, um, what you're thinking, and what's getting jiggled in you. Because sometimes what gets jiggled is your karma, something for you to release. Sometimes what's happening is you're sensing the collective in that area. And sometimes there's just things going on, out in our world, what we call our world, that is creating a field of uncertainty. And we certainly have that, with violence and wars and, you know, guns and nuclear things, etc. And I just don't even know why we need all that, but this is what happens. This is what happens. So, okay, so I think I sense, I feel, I s- how you like that? Okay, I think, okay, I'm gonna put that over on the shelf there. Yeah, you know how there's elf on the shelf? How about mind on the shelf? If it really flares, you go, oh yeah, my ego, like that. So we're going to move into sensing and feeling, and we're going to be guided, and we're going to do the next dollop of work that we have signed up for. Okay, so I'm going to have people just create the dome, and you can put it over your heart or, even your solar plexus. And just lightly tap into the sensation of your fingertips lightly touching each other. And this will keep you in sensorium with yourself. And then we begin love, 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 love. And nod just slightly. Love, 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 love. Allow the thoughts to flatten. Love, 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 love. Remind yourself to be as one. Love, 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 love. Love and be loved. Love, love, love. Love all that you know as, love all that you know as love. Love, 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 and be free. Be free. Love thyself and know thyself. Love, 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 love. See to be one. Mm-hmm. And love, 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 love. And then let's connect with the gorgeous grid motherboard, shall we say, of crystalline beings. And we unite together, equal partners in this grand experiment. Mm. Mm. So the instructions are sense all that you know, all the wisdom you've recorded, and program it into your body as if you were programming a crystal. And I'm going to put my hands, just cross my arms, palms on my chest, one side and then the other. And it is the moment to program this crystal that we are now and program it as a frequency emanator capable of being programmed, storing that information, that vibration, that frequency, and then emanating it to this reality in any moment of receptivity, either from a locale or another gorgeous being. Mm, there we go. Good, you're doing it. So see yourself as crystalline. This is so. Y'all been initiated. This is so. And align with our cohorts here on the inner planes. Mm, mm. And they are offering us a program of higher dimensionality. They're calling it 8D. 8D divinity. Encouraging us to lace it into our vehicles. There you go. Yeah, good. Mm, mm. And allow this to reformat you. And just say, okay, okay. And then turn your gaze inward. Mm-hmm. So it's an interesting thing because there's two sides of you who are doing this. There's the side that's doing the aligning to reprogram, and there's the side that just has to surrender and receive. And so watch those two aspects of consciousness exchange. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And they're saying you're going to have to mentally accept this, mentally say yes to a new construct of construction, reality construction. There we go. Wow, a lot of you are saying yes. Mm. Certain aspects of your vehicle are going to be reconfigured. It's not going to all happen at once. And the first area that has the most importance is the chest area. There we go. Now they are suggesting that we actually infuse this area with gold. Monatomic gold, actually. And this is for ascension purpose. Monatomic gold throughout. There you go. You don't have to know what it is, just say, okay. Monatomic gold actually floats. It's an ascension. It's an ascension substance. And we're including aspects of the motherboard, the crystalline motherboard in this. We can't do it all at once, but we're going to do sections. There we go. And they're saying that the less dense areas are easier because they don't have to encounter all that, consciousness, thought forms, cell phone by frequencies, all of that, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Okay. And allowing yourself to really absorb as much of this frequency into your perceived density. And then we're to say, I am light. I am light. I am light. I am light. And integrate. I am light. I am light. I am crystalline light. Ooh, that's just gorgeous. I am crystalline light. Ooh, I am crystalline light. Now, bring your palms together, little space in between, and then take that up to your third eye, just with your fingertips. Mm. And they're suggesting that take your eyes and go left, right, back and forth so that a new program can integrate in. Mm-hmm. Okay, snap, we got it. So what will happen over the next whatever, things are going to occur to you and you're going to go, oh, right. Now, there were two circumstances where I didn't listen. There were non-consequential, but two circumstances where I didn't listen on my trip home and whatever, it was not. But I went, oh yeah, I heard it and I just overrode it because I was busy. So make sure if you get a sense or a feeling of something, stop for 1 second and tune in like, right, okay, that'll make things easier. Okay, good. Just like that. We need that pause, beautiful people. We need that sentient pause where the mind just gets to go and the sentient goes like that. Like, uh-huh, yes. And we not only are going to be experiencing the world differently, but we are going to be co-creators and co-creatrixes of a whole new world. And yeah, we have to stay on our surfboards. And I'm really, really hoping and praying that we don't need the 3D world to go ballistic. That as things erupt, just like as our mind erupts, we go and we observe it and we bring in a different thought or an I am or just love, 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 love. We may have to be doing that a lot over this next little section of reality unwinding. Okay. So, love, 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 and confirmation. I'm back. I'm back in my 5D sanctuary. I'm so grateful. There's one other thing I wanted to share with you, though. This is a little trick. I read about it and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. So, this person who was writing, I think she was writing on Medium, she was saying, they were traveling. She was traveling with her boyfriend, and they stopped at a gas station, and they went and got stuff, and they came back, and the car would start, but the information board, the information screen wouldn't give any information. And so that was no radio, or no whatever, no maps, no everything. And they're like, huh, we kind of need that. And so the girlfriend turns to the boyfriend. She says, okay, this is a little woo-woo, but you want to try something? He goes, yeah. She goes, how about if we say in an alternate reality, our car's information screen works perfectly. He goes, okay. So they close their eyes and they say it, once or twice, 3 times, and then they nod their head. Yep, an alternate reality. This is so. And they turn on the car and it all blooms back. It just works. So now it's spring and I was in my sanctuary there is a very big sycamore tree that's gone bloom. And I was starting to have the itchy eyes, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So I read this, and I'm on my way to work, and I really can't have allergies at work. I go, okay, I think I said an alternate world. And I really kind of got through the day and I was fine. And then I came home. It was a little bit more so. But I came home yesterday and I could feel it happening again. I go, you know what? In an alternate reality, no allergy. And I go, well, what am I allergic to? You're allergic to 3D. I go, okay, I'm resolving my 3D allergy. So I wanted to pass that on in case you were kind of running into a little snuffle, a little something, and you needed something to resolve, like just say in an alternate reality, because you all are coexisting in multiple realities, even if you just want to say 3D and 5D. But today we did 6D, and we got kind of introduced collectively into 8D as a possibility, as an influencer. We want dimensional influence coming in so that we get those little upgrades. So be with this today, be with it. And it's probably the first hour after our time together, our moments together, is when you really need to practice because it's there. It's gonna fade when, your chores, start to cling to you, etc., or whatever you have, whatever, however you do your day. So anyway, hope that works for you because they also said to me that, and I think 8D really has to do with bringing in the magic. We get to have magic. We get to have magical things happen. So anyway, love, love, love. I'm going to collect all the energy in. Mm. And say namaste, namaste, namaste. All right. Namaste. Love, 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 love.